Hello and welcome back to another video on the Football Zone and to a midweek preview. We've got both Premier League and Championship action this week, so yeah, should be an exciting week of action. And we're going to start off in the Premier League with Crystal Palace versus Norwich. And yeah, this is an interesting one. Palace, obviously, they do have COVID cases in their squad, which isn't ideal. But yeah, their form hasn't been too great, really. But coming against the Norwich side, who are really struggling under Dean Smith. So yeah, this is a big opportunity for Palace. I do think they will end up picking up the win here against Norwich side that just looked depleted. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on, Southampton take on Tottenham at St Mary's, and yeah, this is a big game because Southampton obviously picked up that huge win at West Ham. They've only lost 1 in 5, but they just seem to be drawing a lot. But Tottenham, they're definitely improving under Conte and look really good at the moment. So yeah, this could be a game that goes either way. But yeah, I do think Tottenham at the moment, they just do look better than Southampton, don't they? I think it'll be close. Southampton will run in the way, but I'd say 1-0 to Spurs. Moving on, Watford take on West Ham at Vicarage Road, and yeah, this is a big game for West Ham. They've lost 4 of the last 5 and drew the other one in all comps, so they really need to improve. But Watford have lost the last 4 and are struggling under Claudio Ranieri. And for West Ham, they really do need this win just to put them back into contention, because at the moment they're not looking too good at all, really. And yeah, this is a perfect opportunity for them, and I do think they will do it. I'm going to say a 1-0 Hammers victory. Moving on, Leicester take on Liverpool at the King Power Stadium, and Leicester obviously involved in that mental game against Manchester City, where they lost 6-3 in the end, but I think they will take some confidence from that fight back. Liverpool, of course, had that break because of the postponed game against Leeds, which will really benefit them, I feel, in this upcoming games. And yeah, I do think anyway, Liverpool will have the advantage. They're looking good at the moment. They need to make the most of Salah, Mane, etc. while they still have them. So yeah, I'm going to say 1-0 to Liverpool. Moving on, Chelsea take on Brighton at Stamford Bridge, and Chelsea, yeah, 2 wins on the trot now in all comps, and yeah, they're definitely looking a lot better now. Unbeaten in 6 now in all comps as well. So yeah, they're definitely on the way up against the Brighton side, who finally got that crucial win last night. It's a bit of a shame for Brighton now, coming into a game where Chelsea just started to find their form, so they kind of won't be able to continue their good run after winning a game, because yeah, I do think Chelsea will have too much, so I'll say 2-0. Moving on, Brentford take on Manchester City at the Brentford Community Stadium, and yeah, this is an interesting one because Brentford, obviously they've lost their last 2, but yeah, they do. I got a feeling that they do tend to play really well against some of the top sides. We saw it against Liverpool earlier in the season, but Man City at the moment, they just look so good. It's hard to see them dropping any points really at the moment. And yeah, I fancy Man City to win this one quite comfortably. I'll say 3-0. I'll be kind to Brentford. I'll say 2-0. Moving on, Everton host Newcastle in the Rafa Benitez derby at Goodison Park, and yeah, this is a big game. Everton, they'll come into this one on the back of a decent point against Chelsea, really good point, but yeah, they haven't played in 2 weeks nearly, so yeah, they'll be maybe lacking a bit of match sharpness or maybe fresh. Newcastle, of course, having just played Manchester United, won't be, and I do think that will give Everton the advantage, so I'm going to say a 2-0 Everton win. Moving on, Manchester United take on Burnley at Old Trafford, and United, yeah, I just feel like still the results aren't terrible under Ralph Rangnick, but I just feel like they still do need a bit of clicking under him. And Burnley, yeah, they're not losing anymore, but yeah, they just seem to be drawing. They haven't scored in 3 games, which is a bit of a concern. So yeah, I do think United will have enough to overpower them, but I don't think it'll be easy. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on then to the Championship games, and we're going to start off with Blackburn, who take on Barnsley. And yeah, this is an interesting game because Blackburn, yeah, obviously that game postponed in right last minute against Hull, which was really frustrating, but they came into this in such good form. And Barnsley, yeah, just dreadful at the moment, but as you know, in the Championship anything can happen and you can't really rule anything out, so yeah, it's not a foregone conclusion, but I do think Blackburn will be too strong here. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on, Blackpool take on Middlesbrough at the Bloomfield Road, and yeah, Blackpool, they'll come into this one really short confidence. after that defeat to Huddersfield. But Middlesbrough 2-0 win against Forest last time out. They're absolutely flying under Chris Wilder, really finding form. And yeah, I think they'll definitely come into this one confident. And they're in the playoffs now, really remarkable to be honest. And yeah, I think they will get the win here. I'm going to say a 1-0 Borough win. Moving on then to Coventry against Millwall, and yeah, Coventry, lots of draws recently, and it kind of has seen them dip out of playoff contention at the moment, but of course they do still have games in hand, and they're only 2 points off. But yeah, it's all very congested around now. It's hard to get a full read when you see the amount of games that everyone's had in hand and all of that stuff. But Millwall, they seem to be slipping away again, but it's still not over for them as well. But yeah, I think it's 2 evening match ties. I think it will be a draw here. But moving on, Sheffield United take on Hull at Bramall Lane, and Sheffield United, they're one of the teams that you'll be backing to get near to the playoffs. They really picked up under Paul Heckingbottom, 4 wins in a row, and yeah, only 4 points off. So they're looking strong. Against the Hull side in 19th, who obviously went on that incredible run of form, maybe tailing off slightly at the moment, but still doing really good job considering where they were. But I think Sheffield United will have too much for them here. I'd say 2-0. Moving on, Bristol City take on QPR at Ashton Gate, and yeah, this is an interesting one because obviously QPR lost 2 in a row now, hadn't played since the 5th December before the game against Bournemouth, which really is incredible. But Bristol City haven't played since the 18th of December, so maybe they'll come into this one a bit fresher, and that will give them the advantage. But QPR, just to say in and around playoff place, is they need a win here. So yeah, I think it'll be a close game. Both teams have something to play for, but I think I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think it'll be a close one. Moving on, Forest take on Huddersfield at the City ground, and obviously Forest losing to Borough last night was disappointing, but they're still looking good under Steve Cooper. But Huddersfield, 4 unbeaten now, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 wins in the last 2. So yeah, after a bit of a sticky run, they're definitely on the up as well. So yeah, that creates a fascinating prospect for this game, and it's a hard one to call really, but I just feel like Forest at home, they're in good form at the moment despite the last one. I think they will get the win here. I'm going to say 1-0. Moving on then, Stoke take on Derby at the Bet365 Stadium, and Stoke right on the edge of the playoffs now, obviously with a few games in hand on the teams in there as well, so that's good for them. But yeah, I think they'll see this as a must-win game. But Derby, we've seen how good they can be against teams in the top of the table, and obviously that huge win last time out against West Bromwich Albion. They're not going to go down fighting, are they? Without a fight, are they, Derby? So yeah, this won't be an easy game for Stoke, but I do fancy them here still. I'm going to say 1-0. Moving on then, Bournemouth take on Cardiff at the Vitality Stadium, and yeah, this is a big game for Bournemouth. After that 1-0 win against QPR, they really need to build on that now, really. But Birmingham and Cardiff, 2-2 draw. Last time out, that was just ages ago now. But yeah, they're still very inconsistent under Steve Morrison, and yeah, you'd say for a game Bournemouth top of the league, this is a game that they have to be winning, and I do think they will get the win. I'm going to say it will be 2-0 to Bournemouth. But anyway guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, remember to comments down below, follow me on Twitter, link in the description over daily league football news, and subscribe to our channel on the screen, man. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.